Morning. Today, I'm going to give you special permission to worry. You may worry as much as you like, but only if one of these 6 things happens to you. Your birthday cake collapses from the weight of the candles. When you turn on the news, they're showing emergency routes out of Jacksonville. Your car horn goes off accidentally and stays stuck as you follow a group of Hell's Angels on Route I-95. The bird singing outside your window is a buzzard. Your income tax check bounces. Your wife says, "Good morning, Bill," and your name is George. Other than that, you have nothing to worry about. The Dalai Lama gave no permission to worry at all. Here's what he said. If a problem is fixable, if a situation is such that you can do something about it, then there is no need to worry. If it's not fixable, then there is no help worrying. So, there is no benefit in worrying whatsoever. You may have come across this quote in our newsletter. Worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but doesn't get you anywhere. That's well said. Most worry is wasted energy, better used in some other way. Let me distinguish between thoughtful consideration on the one hand and useless fretting that destroys peace of mind on the other. It's the useless fretting that I'm talking about. What I mean by worry is anxious worry. Once, there was a boy who liked kindergarten very much, for it was nearly all play. When he entered the 1st grade, he found that he had to learn things. This meant that he had less time to play, and that troubled him. When his mother explained that he had 12 years of school in front of him, and perhaps 4 years of college after that, the boy grew despondent. She asked him why he was so sad. Between his sobs, the boy replied that he was worried about going to college and what he would do when he got there. That may sound silly to us, but it's not any more so than some of the things that we grown-ups worry about. From the boy's perspective, college loomed directly ahead. He hadn't learned to take one day at a time. Anticipating what might happen in a dozen years filled him with dread. A rhyme I know speaks to this. Yard by yard, life is hard, but inch by inch, it is a cinch. Jesus said that another way. Don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. There's a difference between concern and anxious worry. To be concerned about the well-being of yourself or others is a good thing. It shows that you care. Concern leads to action. In our newsletter, and I have extra copies here if you haven't seen it. In our newsletter, I wrote of an oyster. Its concern about the harm done to it by a grain of sand caused the oyster to patiently turn that sand into a pearl. If you can do something about a situation, then do it, as the oyster did. But if you can't do anything, then worrying about it isn't going to solve the problem. Sometimes the best thing to do is to accept what can't be helped and adapt to it. Some situations are beyond our control. It's best to recognize that we can't resolve them. What's known as the Serenity Prayer speaks to this. Here's what it says. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Anxious worry is different from concern. It can harm us and play havoc with our lives. It interferes with sleep, forcing us to face the day tired and irritable. It shortens our temper so that we snap at people. Any doctor or nurse will tell you that an apprehensive patient recovers more slowly. The strain caused by anxiety over work brings on diseases that kill people. The main cause of death is heart disease, which often arises from worry, anxiety, and stress. These days, I can hardly find a place to take time out. Atop the St. Augustine Lighthouse with Ed Dooley, I tried to reflect, but I couldn't do it, even there. From my vantage point on the walkway at its top, I was contemplating the vastness of the sea. As I gazed out, a brusque voice interrupted my reverie. "Keep moving, please. Move right on round." The farmer who wants to be out standing in his field has been replaced by the harried professional who's scrambling to the top of whatever field he works in. There's anxiety and worry in his face, a haggard, hurried look. You know in your heart that we weren't meant to live like that. We weren't made for that kind of struggle. We were designed for happiness. We were created for peace and joy. What shall we do? How may we find peace of mind and heart? When worry enters the picture, something is often drawn in with it, and that is impatience. We may grow impatient by worrying that what will happen isn't happening the way we want it, or not soon enough, or in the way we think it should. There once was a young man who farmed some land with his father. They shared the same name and farm, but had little else in common. The father liked to take it easy, while his son was a real go-getter. The time came to sell their vegetables that they grew in the city. Early one morning, they loaded their truck and set out. The son wanted to get to the market soon, so he drove as fast as he could. "Slow down," said the old man. "You'll last longer." "If we're there before the other farmers," replied the son, "we'll get a better price." And down the road a piece, they came to a house. "Here's your uncle's place," said the father. "Let's stop in and say hello." The two old men talked for an hour as the son fidgeted nervously. When they finally left, the father took the wheel. Coming to a fork in the road, he drove to the right. "The left is the shorter way," remarked his son. "I know," replied the old man, "but there's more to see this way." "Don't you care about the time?" asked the impatient young man. His father replied, "I care about it very much. That's why I like to use it to look at nice things." The road led through wildflowers. "This is the last trip I take with you," snapped the son. "You're more interested in flowers than making money." "Why, that's the nicest thing you've said in a long time," the old man replied. They continued on until they came upon another farmer. He had been driving in the opposite direction, and his truck stuck in a ditch. "Let's give him a hand," said the old man. "And lose even more time," his son protested. After a while, they got the other truck back on the road. By and by, they drove to the top of a hill overlooking the city and its market. The morning had passed. It was already afternoon. "If we'd arrived earlier, we would have sold out by now," the son grumbled. "Take it easy," said the old man. "You'll last longer." Suddenly, a great flash of lightning split the sky. Then there was thunder. Beyond the hill, the sky grew dark. They looked down at the city for a long time. Neither of them spoke. Finally, the young man, who had been in such a hurry, said quietly, "I see what you mean, Father." They turned the truck around and drove away from what once had been the city of Hiroshima. When we're under pressure, we may feel like the young man who worried that he wouldn't sell his vegetables in time. We worry that we can't trust in the way life works because it won't turn out the way we want it to. Through impatience, worry, and lack of trust in his father, the young man nearly lost his life. We risk losing out when we get impatient. And here's what we have to lose. First, enjoyment of the place we're in. When we want to be somewhere else, we don't appreciate where we are. Where we find ourselves is where we are. Escaping to another place won't solve the situation at hand. It happens here. There's something to dislike anywhere you go. So why not admit that you might as well be here? Wherever you go, there you are. Realizing that life takes place right here brings certainty. Second, enjoyment of the moment. Those who aren't thinking about the present are often worried about the future. Worry can't change what will be, but it can ruin the present. When we dwell on what might occur, we can't attend to and appreciate what happens now. And finally, trust. When we must have everything the way we want it to be, it looks to us as though the universe isn't being managed very well. Had his father not gone along with him, the young farmer would have lost his life. When we trust only our own agenda, we tend to make decisions that don't work out. When we always want things to happen as we wish rather than as God wills, we miss out on what might otherwise be ours to enjoy. How may we find patience, then, and recover what we've lost? First, we may be content where we are rather than seeking contentment elsewhere. Second, we may make the best of our present situation. And finally, we may trust God to bring something good out of every circumstance. Life is a journey. We can worry about where we're going and when we'll get there. But anxiety and impatience aren't going to change that. So let's enjoy the scenery along the way. Look at the flowers and know that everywhere, in every moment, we're taken care of. Your thoughts and feelings create your experience. Managing them will prevent tension, stress, and worry. You have choices. You can decide to focus on what you like rather than on what you don't. You can recognize your feelings and do something about them. Rather than react to how you feel, you can observe your feelings and see what they tell you. As you pay more attention to your thoughts and feelings, you make better choices about your response to them. You can choose to respond differently. You aren't chained to negative reactions. You can do any number of things to create a less worried state of mind. Recognize the power of your thoughts. You are the one who accepts or rejects the thoughts that lead to worry. When you're worried, you're probably focusing on what's wrong about a situation and the negative thoughts you have about it. You can choose to change your response. You have power over worry and fear. You can take control of your thoughts and how you respond to them. Examine your reactions. By understanding how you feel, you unleash the powerful tool of choice. By taking charge of your thoughts, you choose peace instead of worry. You can't control the weather, but you do have control over how you think about it. How you think and feel about a situation is up to you. Recognize your inner dialogue and how it affects you. Then you can deal with negative thinking and the worry that comes with it. You can choose peace instead of worry. The mind is a container. It's a vessel into which you pour your thoughts. Be careful about what you put into it. If there's a worrisome thought that you don't want to keep in mind, you may, through your faith, replace it with a better thought that you do want. Life lacks nothing. It needs nothing. It's all there is, everywhere present. To the extent that you remind yourself of this, you'll be confidently assured instead of worried. There's a power greater than you are, and you can use it, as Ernest Holmes said. Life only wants what's good for you. Worry can fill your minds with fear and doubt, but only if you let it. Before worry unraveled the lives of many, we were part of a divine pattern that's still with us and always will be with us. It's not limited by time or by place. It's the eternal now and the everlasting here, and it never deserts us. We're free from fear, doubt, and worry only when we find faith, confidence, and conviction greater than they are. Every worry and fear may be replaced by faith. Every uncertainty may be replaced by certainty. The way to deal with worry is by the way of faith. Faith in the presence of God, faith in the promises of God, and faith in the power of God to see us through. When we have faith, we're free from fear. Life holds the best for you. As you move ahead, you'll find blessings that are greater than your fears. Faith is the answer to your worries. Faith in something greater than you are. As the connection to your spirit grows, you'll listen less to the voices that say, don't, and more to the one that says, do. Once you connect to the source of your power and love, you'll hear your intuition speak to you. But you have to listen for it. And that's because fear shouts, while intuition whispers. Fear frightens you away. Intuition quietly asks you to listen to what's best for you. When you silence worried self-talk, you leave behind its chattering. As you choose the voice you heed, something wonderful happens. Your intuition speaks up and lets you hear its peaceful, quiet words. It guides you to an inner source that takes the place of fear. The more you listen to it, the stronger the connection to your spirit becomes. As you attend to that connection, calm assurance enters your life. This morning, you've learned some ways to dispel worry. The more you practice them, the larger your spirit will grow, until one day there will be no room left in your life for worry. Let's live with calm assurance, knowing that all things work together for good to those who trust in faith. that it is so. Let's enter together into a guided meditation. Its purpose is to let go of worry and release feelings surrounding it. Get comfortable in your chair. Relax your gaze or close your eyes. Bring your awareness here to the present moment. The future is uncertain, but it's all right. Knowing that all is well and will be well, bring feelings of confidence into that uncertainty. Focus your attention on feelings of peace. Let the light of peace come to you. Let its healing white light enter you. Let the light grow within you in every direction. You're in a place of pure love and peace. Now, say this to yourself. I'm in a place of love and peace. I let go of fear and worry. I let go of thoughts and feelings that worry me. I'm the only one who can change my thoughts. I stop thoughts of worry before they enter my mind. I choose what to think about. Let yourself feel the strength you're creating within your mind. Now, say to yourself these words of gratitude. I'm thankful for the faith, strength, and courage that lets me see myself in a new way. I appreciate my mind and spirit. I know that the universal power in all things lives inside of me and gives me peace. Feel the calm assurance within you. Now, slowly return to this place. When you're ready, you may open your eyes or focus your gaze.